Good day and welcome to another episode of the Relationship and Marriage Hour. This program is brought to you by Love Bay Afrobeat Music Talk Radio, your number one African Caribbean diaspora online radio, the station that shares because we care. You can listen online 24/7 at our email address. You can download our app on Google Play and Apple Store, or you can call the program at 437-778-3299. Yes, you can do all of that stuff um, to be a part of what we are doing here at Afrobeat Music Talk Radio. It is a privilege to join you today, and we have another interesting topic that we want to deal with during the relationship and marriage hour. We want to talk about in the mind of a husband. Oh wow, what's in the mind of a husband? Um, and that's what we want to talk about today. And I'm so happy that you've joined us. So I ask that you call a friend, call a significant other. If you are a wife, call your husband. If you are a husband, call your wife. Call your girlfriends. Because if you want to know what man thinking, you have come to the right place today. Because we want to share with you some of the thoughts that are in the minds of husbands, and I think you want to know. And I am joined today by Chaplain Franklin Bethel here out of Nassau, Bahamas. Brother Bethel, it's nice to have you with me on the set today. How are you?
I am doing fine, but I'm hearing
Okay,
you. I'm hearing you twice.
you can hear me well. I can hear
I,
you well.
I feel like you okay in the back. Okay. Yeah.
So it's so nice to have you with us once again. And we are talking about this topic in the mind of the husband. So, what we want to do today,
I,
you and
I,
I,
I can hear
we,
you. I can hear you right now, but I'm still hearing you in the back. Hearing you coming across strong because what you're saying now is still coming back in later. And I can tell you even right now while you talk, I can still hear. I can
okay,
hear you
good.
talking.
I don't understand what's happening then with your audio. Is there somebody else that's listening that is there with you?
Yeah, I was just presenting my response. Yeah.
Okay. So why don't you try this? Why don't you sign out and then sign back in, and
Okay.
let's see if that changes stuff. Okay.
Okay. Before you go, let me
Okay.
make sure. Okay, yeah, let me sign and then sign back in.
Okay then. So yes, that's Brother Bethel. He will be joining me here on the set as soon as he gets his audio text sorted out. But listen, we can start talking. We can start talking. So call your friends, call your girlfriends, call everyone, and let them know. Oh, they talking about what in the mind of what in the mind of your husband. If you want to know what your husband thinking about, if you want to know what your future husband thinking about, if you want to know what's going on in their heads, you need to pay attention because we're going to talk about it today. We're going to talk about all of the stuff that's in the mind. Well, that we are, because Brother Bethel has been married some 40 plus years. I've been married some 20 plus years. So we want to share what's in our minds. And we think that there should be some cross section, some intersection between us or the typical husband that we want to share with you. And we will go from there. there. But what's in the mind? What's in the mind? The Bible says this way, that out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. Or it says, as you think it in your heart, so are you. So thinking, getting from the mind to the heart is something that is key to understanding how men are thinking. We think, and actually how humans are thinking on the whole, on things that concerns us, that affects us, and those are the things that we want to talk about. And let me say this to you: men are simple. Ain't much we thinking about, but what we are thinking about is critical to the relationship. It's important, it's vital to us. So we want to encourage those of you listening to be a part of this thought. So when I think, what do I think about on the average? What's in my mind? What's in my heart? Before I became a husband, I thought all about me and my parents too. I thought about my mommy, my daddy, my siblings, wanting to help them and do the best I can. But I was Alvin centered. It was about me. Alvin, do you need this? Do you need that? You need to make sure Alvin is okay. You need to make sure Alvin have what Alvin needs. However, after I proposed to Tanya and decided to get married, those things changed and my thought process changed. Welcome back, Mr. Bethel. Brother Bethel, can you
Yes,
hear me?
yes, yes. I can hear you very. I found out what had happened. I had you up twice. So after I log out of one, I could have still heard it, then I had to search. I find the second one that was still on, and I just X out of that.
Okay, not a problem.
So
Well, welcome
everything
back.
should be good now.
Okay, good. So we're talking about what's in the mind of a husband, and you came in with me sharing how before I got married, before I was even interested in Tanya, my wife, I was just thinking about my mother, father. I thought about family as such, but I was Alvin centered. That's what was in my mind, making sure
Hmm.
Alvin has what Alvin needs.
Hmm.
However, after I proposed to Tanya, my mindset changed because I realized now that I was taking on the responsibility of another human being. So thinking about Alvin changed to the fact that it was Tanya, Tanya, then Tanya. And then that even changed more when children came, because it was Tanya, then Alvin
Children.
Jr., then Tanaya.
Hmm. Hmm.
And those are the things that we want to talk about is what goes through your head as a husband,
Hmm.
and how are we navigating through these things, because we want to help our listeners know that, listen,
Hmm.
if you want it to be right, you got to think right.
Hmm.
Many people are getting it wrong because their thinking is messed up.
Hmm.
So,
Hmm.
therefore, they need to go back to their minds and begin to think properly. And I quoted
Yeah.
this scripture, as the Bible says, "As a man thinketh in his heart,
So is he.
so is he." So I want, even though there's a thought process in the mind, I want by the end of this conversation that we help our listeners realize that you need to get beyond the mind and tap into the heart and let that now flow and you live through that. What you
mhm.
say? It's sorry, that's a whole lot we have to
Yes,
peel through. But I want you to
yes,
introduce yourself to our listening audience
yes,
again, and let's dive right in. What you say,
yes.
brother? Bethel?
Yes, yes, I am Minister Franklin Bethel, and let me just make a correction here. I know you gave me plenty years of marriage. You said over 40 years of marriage. Well, I've been married this year will give me 58 years. Well,
That's what I thought.
59,
I know it was over
59 years
50,
this
but I
year.
said, boy, let me know miss speak. Let me say over 40, and then I know that 50
I
is
think you
over
be
40
safe.
anyway.
Yes,
Wow.
but you know it's a beautiful journey. You know, it's not a journey that has been layered with a lot of goodness, but there is goodness even and sometimes even in the bitterness. Okay, we have to understand sometimes you have to pass through the wilderness in order to get to where you want to go, in
Yes.
order to get to the promised land. And every day will not be sugar and spice. We need to understand that. Okay, but I love the portion of scripture that you quoted there, as a man thinketh in his heart so is he. But I want to add to that. I want to add one one question that um, a man or woman, so is he. As a man, woman think in their hearts, so are they. Okay? Because I always say relationship, if a husband try to make his wife as happy as he can without thinking of himself, and the wife herself can make the husband happy without thinking about herself. Just think of the other point. Each one think about making the other one happy. I think they can be a beautiful relationship because
Yes,
then
sir.
I wouldn't have to worry. I wouldn't have to worry about me trying to please myself because she would be pleasing me. She wouldn't have to worry about her pleasing me because I would be pleasing her. But we know we living in a real world where sometimes we bite our tongue, but we never spit the tongue out, even though we bite it. You see, they still are able to live together in the same mouth. And the tongue, whenever it needs to, it shifts the food over to the teeth where it needs to be so the teeth can properly chew it. So they work together. And that's the same way how a husband and a wife team ought to work together in relationships.
Yes,
I don't know
sir.
if there's some. Mhm.
That makes perfect sense. And I like that because if I take care of you and you take care of me, wow. If I put all of my efforts in making sure that you are happy, or
Yes.
you are satisfied and you get what you want, and you do the same thing for me, man, that's a beautiful marriage.
A
Um,
beautiful, beautiful
that's a
relationship.
beautiful marriage, and it will work.
Mhm.
Though marriages like that
Mhm.
works
Mhm.
lifetime, a whole lifetime.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm. However, there are times when we know things will happen. We can't get away from that. Things will happen. There is none with capital letters and capital NONE. No relationship that go through the length of time that we have been together without having some friction. It will happen. Okay? The main thing is knowing how to deal with those times when they come. That's the
Yes.
main thing. And once we
Yes.
know how to deal with them, and there are various reasons, you know, different men, their makeup different, their mindset is different, and a lot of it stems from from backgrounds. Some of it depend, and I always tell when I'm dealing with when I'm talking to husbands and wives in their relationship when they have a bad relationship going on and they come for counseling. I always try to tell them, the husband, be careful how you treat your wife in front of your children. And wife, you be careful how you treat yourself in front of your children, because in a relationship with husband, wife, and children, boys, sons, and daughters, the son is going to look at the daddy to see what type of man he is so that he could know how he's ought to treat his wife when he gets married. And
Yeah.
he's also going to look at his mother to see what kind of wife he needs to get so that he would know that he's getting the right type of wife. So children look at us, and they use us as models for when they get into relationship, to how they to who they want and what they want out of their relationship. You see, because if a boy grows up seeing his father slapping his wife, his mother, then he's gonna feel that when he grows up, that's what a man's supposed to do. You see, when a young girl sees her mother depending on how she treats her daddy, then she will say that two questions will come up, and she has to choose between these two. Is this kind, is this kind of, is this the kind of wife I want to be when I get married? You see, because if that is the way her mother treats her father, then she would want to know, well, no, I don't want to be that kind of wife. I don't want to treat my husband that kind of way. Or, man, this is the way wives supposed to treat husbands. So we as parents have to be very careful how we present ourselves in front of our children, because we are their teachers, not those people on the outside. You see, they go on the outside because of is happening on the inside, and that's why they go on the outside. But we are their greatest examples. I want to just mention here, and this is straying. I was about to say straying away, but it's really not straying away, because we have we have two biological children, and both of those are pastors. My daughter, she's a pastor, and my son, he's a pastor. And I am sure they must have seen the relationship between me and their mom, because they both have beautiful relationships within their marriages. So, so your example to them means a lot. A lot of men feel, well, hey, listen, I'm the man of the house, and you are correct, but she is the woman of the house as well. But we need to understand that as well. A lot of men feel as though, well, we are the leaders, you listen to me. Well, true to a certain extent, because if there is something that the woman or the wife is more accomplished in, then we need to accept that she knows what she's saying in that area more than we may know. So we should allow them to take the lead in the area where they are strong. You see, and so we need to be careful here. We're just trying to be too macho. And while they says, and I say this often, while they says, wives, submit to your own husband, um, your wives, everything, and submit ye to one another. So there is submitting on both sides. but there is a command for each. So we need to take it in the stages that it has been presented. The man should take the leading role in his home, and the female and the wife need to respect that. But he also needs to respect her as the wife because she brings something to the table as well. So we need to find a balance here and work with that balance. So
Yes,
that's
sir.
right now. Yeah.
That's good stuff.
Mhm.
And all of that, when we find that balance, it helps us even in our thinking process.
Mhm.
It helps us to remove all of that clutter, and we can think clearer.
Yeah.
We can make strong and wise decisions
Decision.
that will not
Yeah.
just affect us, but it affects our entire family.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
like I was saying, that when I proposed to Tanya and we were going to go get married, my mindset changed. That
Hmm.
I stopped thinking Alvin, 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 but now it
Hmm.
changed to Tanya first
Yes.
and then
Hmm.
Alvin. So
Hmm.
what do we say then to that husband out there who got married and is still thinking husband,
Hmm.
and has not yet graduated, that listen, or hasn't realized that he needs to move from that self-centeredness, and now
Hmm.
he needs to focus on the family that he's going to build with this woman he's calling wife.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, well, you see, you started off with the same thing that I had mentioned earlier.
Mhm.
If as a husband, our thought should be, what can I do to please and to make my wife happy? She would be the first thought. And that's what you said when that's where your mind went when you met Tanya. That what can I do for her? And if both parties, the wife could also have the same mindset, what can I do to make my husband please my husband? If we come into
Yeah.
relationship with that kind of mentality, I think not that we won't have problems,
Hmm.
that won't eliminate them,
Hmm.
but it can minimize the problems. Okay, and too many times, um, men go into relationship with a bossy attitude.
Yes.
And when you go in with that type of attitude, there will be problems, and I'm talking about big problems. And I want to go back to the portion in Ephesians where they talk about husband serving your wife and wives submitting. I will go back to the wife part because
Hmm.
there was a word in there that a lot of people leave out. Wives, submit to your own. The own is between your and husband. Wives, submit to your own husband. And I believe the reason for that is I believe when the writer of the book was about to write that, I think his mind went back to the Garden of Eden when Eve listened to somebody else instead of listening to her husband. Because the husband told her exactly what God said. And when she went to someone else, she said, well, did God really say that? You see,
Yeah.
so when you go outside of the scope of listening to somebody else, and that's why he said, wife, submit to your own. Nobody else. Don't listen to nobody else, but submit to your own husbands. So we have to be careful. Yep. When I got married, my mind wasn't really on, hey, listen, um, let me see how I could please this lady who I'm getting married to. That wasn't on my mind. I saw a beautiful lady and I wanted to be mine.
Yeah.
And I went into it with that mindset. And after I got
Mhm.
into it, we both tried to please each other. And that
Mhm.
is what happens when, especially, especially in your growing up, the type of
Mhm.
home that you were brought up in. Because, like I said earlier, if a boy grew up in a home whereby the man would always be fighting with the wife, beating her and all that, he's going to feel that, boy, I supposed to take it in hand. This is what I
Yeah,
supposed to do.
yeah.
This is what we must show. So again, we can't stress this. When both me and you, we can't stress this enough
Mhm.
that we have to be careful as parents how we deal with our spouses. Now, I always tell people, I am specific when I speak. When I want to talk about husbands, I say husbands. When I talk about wife, I say wife. When I want to talk about both, I say spouses. As
Mhm.
spouses, we need to be very careful how we conduct ourselves in front of our children because they are learning, and what they get from home is what they're going to carry into their
Yes,
relationship. And one day
yes.
they will get married. Whenever persons come to me for marital counseling, one of my very first question to them is, "Have you had any premarital counseling?" And in most cases, they don't. Sometimes they do, but the counseling they get is not really counseling. It's just um, what's your name? When is your marriage? When is your wedding date? You're just getting that kind of information, and it's really not premarital counseling. It's only preparing the paperwork. You see, but we need to go way beyond that because we need, as a wife, she needs to know what type of home this guy came from. Did his mommy and his daddy fight a lot? Are they married? Are they divorced? What
Mhm.
she needs to know what she's getting into. And likewise, he needs to know what type of a person he's bringing into his life. Whereas she
Yes,
was brought up in the type of home where the same things were happening. You see, because she could have been bitter against the way how her father treated her mother. She could have been bitter against the way how her mother treated her dad. So we need to go into backgrounds and talk to these persons about what kind of, how well do you know this person who you want to get married to? So once we could get an understanding of relationships and backgrounds, then we would know how to move on from where we are. But it's
yes.
very important to look into relationship backgrounds.
Okay. That's good stuff. That's good stuff because in knowing your past, it fuels you and it helps you as you move into your future. So
Yeah,
you have to
yeah,
make sure because you don't want to repeat the same mistakes. You have to make sure learn from those past mistakes. That when you move into the future, you are moving in wisdom, in knowledge,
yeah,
and in God's understanding. Um,
yeah.
so I said earlier, Minister Bethel, that men are simple, we ain't as complex as the woman. The woman could be thinking 50 things, and we just thinking about one thing, and we good to think
Mhm,
about that one thing. Um,
mhm.
if you ask me, you give me a fishing line, and I go on the beach, and that's me. That could be me all day. And what I'm going to be thinking about, I'm going to be thinking about when the fish can bite. we we are one tracked in our thinking,
Yeah.
whereas I heard one preacher said that we have a one lane highway, whereas women got 6 and
Oh,
10,
multiple.
15 lanes, and we do 10 things one time. And I read this post where where it says that all man need is three things. They need you to be quiet. They need you to give them the remote, and they need sex. So
Yes.
those are the say those are the three things on the mind. Oh, food. Sorry. So one of
Mhm.
those things gotta go. Say that if we ain't thinking about food, we
Yeah.
we 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 thinking about sex, or we thinking about one other thing. And that says,
Yeah.
what is your thought process on that?
You are so very correct. I had a couple whereby I I presented them with a video so
Uh
they could
huh.
understand, and this video gave them an opportunity to understand the way how men think and the way how women think, how wives think, or women in general. Okay, we are wired differently.
Yes.
Men and women, we are wired differently. And like you mentioned earlier, if you come to us and you ask us something, we can deal with that one thing that you ask us.
Mhm.
Only that one, nothing else. If your wife comes to you and she tells you, listen, when are you gonna take care of that? Depending on how you answer, she gonna remember what you did yesterday. She gonna remember what you did last year. She gonna remember your
Yes.
response even from 10 years ago, and all of those coming up the same time, just
Hmm.
because of one issue. They're not gonna deal with that one issue. And whoever, let me get let me get closer, just in case some of you need to read my lips. If you're going to deal with a situation, deal with that situation.
Yes.
No other.
Mhm.
Let the others come up another time when it is necessary. Deal with that one. Because throwing everything in one basket ain't gonna help the situation. It only expanding this and drawing it out and it's making the situation worse. Um,
Yes, it is.
Whoever is listening right now, I want you to go on YouTube and pull up a video, man's brain versus woman's brain.
Oh wow.
Pull it up, and you will get an appreciation for exactly what I just said. Because this guy, he says, when you deal with a man, I mean, if you're gonna tell him about the car, he got to deal with the car. But if the woman have a problem with the car and she comes to you with that problem, she can tell you how the car was doing from last year, how the car wasn't doing yesterday. But we need to know how the car doing today. Man's brains versus woman's brains.
Yes.
Look at that, check the video out, and you will change your mind with how you deal with things. But we need to start really. Both of us have, and you've mentioned it. We can't because this is how you started out. You thought of your wife when you met her, and if we could start thinking about each other rather than thinking about ourselves, let my wife think about me. I don't need to think about me. She gonna take care of me. I know she can take care of me. And if you are confident enough, and if you respect me enough to realize that, hey, I am going to take care of you because you're mine.
Yes.
If we if we want to solve the problems, you see, anything a man getting from home, he don't need to look outside for. As
Mhm.
soon as he what's supposed to be gotten in the home is neglected, don't let somebody else come. He may not even go looking for it. But
Come to him.
if the wife is not rubbing his head and making him feel good, let's say he goes to work. Let's say he ain't interested in no other female. But if she have an eye on him and she just rub his head, it's going to make him feel good. Because why? He isn't getting it at home. So we need to be very careful in our neglect at home. Because what we fail to deliver at home, somebody else is out there, always out there
Waiting
ready
for it.
to deliver. So let's
Mhm.
be very careful with that. That is not to say. You're right. We're going out. Pastor Alvin, I mentioned this the last time I was on the show, and I think it is worth. I think it's worth mentioning again on the same line that
Okay.
we were on just now. Somebody came in my brother's office. You might or might not recall this conversation. And my brother always had beautiful girls sitting behind his desk for the public when they come in. And one guy came in his office and he whispered to my brother. He said, "Boy, I know you'd have touched that." My brother didn't say, "Come in my office for a second." And when the guy went in his office, he said, "Sit down. I want to tell you something." He said, "Let me tell you, if I take one of those girls out there and I put them in front of me, and I take my wife and I put her in front of me, I tell both of them, strip your clothes, take all your clothes off, both of them. When I look at my wife, or I look at this girl and I look at my wife, same thing. I go down
Yeah.
listen, look, same thing. I don't care where I look, it's the same thing. What do I need to go out for? If what out there is the same thing that I have at home, a problem can arise if the same thing is outside his home and he isn't getting from home what outside is going to offer him. I am not giving anybody any excuse to go out. Find a way to make it right. But at the same time, we have to be careful with this mentality of of you can rape your wife.
Yeah.
No, I believe me. The same things I understand. If a woman say no, I understand that. But according to the Bible that I read, it says my body ain't mine. It's my wife on. So whenever she say let's go, I got to say, baby, let's go. And the same Bible says, tell her your body is not your own, but it's your husband's own. However, however, it does say that comes a time when a woman could be withdrawn, and each woman know what time that is, and the husband should know what time that is, because
Yes.
there's certain time of the month when they're under attack. All right, and I call it attack. It's not attack. I think it's a purifying moment.
Yes.
Okay, so we need to withdraw so that the purification can take place. It's not a no. It's not. It's just a relax for right now. It's still here for you, but just relax for right now. But we have to be careful that our wives about telling the husband no, 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 because if he get too many no's, I always say nobody can cause you to do anything that you don't want to do. But at the same time, as human beings, depending on what you do, you can drive people. And I'm not only, wives, I don't want you to think I'm only talking to you. I talk to the husbands too, depending on
Yes.
your
Yes.
action.
Yes.
You can drive them away. So here we talk about both parties have to know how to relate to each other because communication is your number one weapon that can be used against each other. That is, if
Yes.
it's a good communication, bind us together, Lord. Bind. If it's a rotten communication, then it rips apart. So we need to look at our communication. Everything else is built on your communication. Because let me. I told a group one time. I said, what do you think is the most important part of your body? Some people said the brain. Some people
Mm-hmm.
said the eyes. Some people said the foot. People use all kinds of different things. But whoever is listening right now, this is the most important part of your body. This
Yes.
is the first thing that you felt when you were born. The arms and the hands of your mother. This is the very first thing that you felt when you were born. In a relationship, you can rub your wife, Pastor Alvin, with your foot.
Yes.
And that'll feel good. But nothing gonna feel like when you rub her with your hands.
Yes.
When she rub, when
Praise the
she rub
Lord.
you with, when she rub you with her hands, rub your head with, that's a different type of feeling
Yes.
than when she rub you with her foot or with her toes. That's a different thing. When she rub you with her shoulder, that's different from when you put your arm around her and you caress her with your arm. You hold her with your arm. You rub her with your hand. This is the most important. People use this dangerously sometimes when they want to slap a woman. I call it a coward. I think I need to say it again to you, man. Any man who lay his hands on his wife is a coward.
Oh, wow.
You think they, you think that was loud enough? Pastor, you think any man who lay his hands on his wife is a coward. Find somebody who strong like you to be the one, not your wife. You were not given a wife to be. I see. I'm getting full here. You were not given a wife for that purpose. You were given a wife to love her, to love her. And once you can love her like Christ loved the church, I don't see any problems coming. Because then you'll be loving her with God. And if she
Yes.
respects you, if you love her like that, she is going to respect you. She is going to respect you. She wouldn't be looking outside because she knows what she's got on the inside.
And she knows how you're thinking. And she
And
knows
she
that
knows that,
you're thinking about her. And she knows that you are
oh, Pastor Alvin, you just,
prioritizing her. Any
yes,
woman,
yes, yes,
any woman who really genuinely is in a relationship, knowing that that man is caring for them, uh,
yes,
don't care how hard they were. Gradually, they just mellow out and say, you know what, this man looking out for me. He thinking
yes,
about me.
yes,
I can do what I gotta do for
yes,
him.
yes, yes. I told somebody the other day, anybody who you are around, get to know them. Get to
Mhm.
know them. You should know your wife. That if your wife calls you and say, "Listen, honey, bring me some lunch," you should know what she wants. You should know the type of food she wants. If you've been with her as long as I've been with her, because if my wife called me and say, "Listen," she say, "Bring me some lunch," she don't have to tell me what to bring her. Now I would ask her what she wants in case she have a preference. Because I know my wife. She loves fish. There's certain things she loves, but I know the things that she wouldn't want, so I can bring her those things.
Yes.
Fish would be the number one because I know that's the number one. So I gonna bring her some fish, and then if they don't have the fish, then I know what's the second best for her, not for me. And if we start thinking like that, get to know your spouse, and if each spouse know the other. Whenever my wife leaving home, she doesn't even know this. whenever she is leaving home, even if we have an argument before she leaves, I always notice what she's wearing. In the event I get a call, I can say she was wearing this and she was wearing that, and this is the way she would, this is what she looks like. So I don't care what the situation is. When she leaves home, I will know what she is, how she is dressed. I'll be able to tell the authority she was dressed like this. So we need to get to know your wife needs to know you. She needs to know your way of thinking. She needs to know what you like to do, the things you like to do. She needs to know you the same way how you ought to know her. You see, because
Yes.
at first it's going to be a learning process. The courtship is to get you to know one another, but you will not fully. My mother always said, if you don't know me, come live with me. That's a true saying. Because you could be with somebody, and as soon as you could be with a friend, and you could have, I mean, you could admire that friend, and that friend could say, "Man, let's let's go to Miami for a day." And once you all sleep overnight, and you see that person, whether they decent, whether they nasty, whether they fix the clothes properly, whether they, you you live with them overnight, so you got an idea now. It changes. I didn't know they were like that. I thought they were like this. So
Hmm.
once we get to know our spouses during the courtship, gives us a little idea, a little enough for us to say that's the person I want to be with. I know in a marriage, during some conflict, the lady said, "Well, I didn't know him like this before," and that is why you need proper counseling, because proper counseling will take you into those dangerous areas for you to think about before you step going up the aisle. Before you go up the aisle, you need to go up the aisle of how well you know that person. And I talking husband and wife here, talking
Yeah.
men
Yeah.
and females here. Get to know one another. That can eliminate a lot of problems. And why you think we could stick together for so long, for 58, going on to 59 years in another 6 months? 59 in another 6 months. Because I already know her.
Yeah.
You think I can walk away from her and go into another relationship, but I don't know. I don't know you. You could change on me any minute. No, no, no,
Hmm.
no. I can stick with what I have, and I can try to build my relationship with what I have, with who I
Yeah.
have.
It makes sense.
Makes sense,
It makes perfect sense.
rather make perfect sense. Rather than going looking out for something strange. So husband and wives, just to give you a little something to think about. Think like Paul say, think on these things.
Yes.
That's how I'll go back to you.
Yeah. Yeah. And two, there's so much things that there's so much things out there. You don't got to, and that's why I say, men, we are simple. Once we are comfortable, actually, sometimes we don't even have to be comfortable. We just need to make sure that the people that we love comfortable, and then
Yes,
we are good.
yes.
Once Tanya is okay, I'm okay. Um,
Mm-hmm.
eh, that's the way men think. That's the way husbands
Mm-hmm.
think. True husbands put their family before them, and you
Yeah,
make
on.
sure wife got what she needs, children got what they
Mm-hmm.
need, the house is
Mm-hmm.
taken care of. If there's a leak, I go make sure it's fixed. Whatever's
Mm-hmm.
happening as it relates to the physical upkeep of the house and the
Mm-hmm.
car and all that stuff, that's what
Mm-hmm.
husbands do.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yes,
those are the things that
yes.
we think about. and we think about them because we want to better our relationship. We
Relationship.
want to
Yeah.
better what we want with our wives. And then in our
Yeah.
last 10 minutes, why I want better what I want with my wife, because when I
Yeah.
want what I want, she's available to give me what I want.
Yeah. But guess what? Guess what? If you treat your wife the way she ought to be treated, when she goes out and that fella comes to her, she can tell him, listen, boy, my husband treat me good.
Yeah, you ain't
She can,
ready.
she can big you up.
Yeah.
If you treating her right when she goes out, she's going to big you up. And likewise, with wives, they when we go out, when I go around females and they start to talk, I talk about my. I want them to know. Listen, I'm on here to his wife.
Same
That's
thing
what I
here.
talk about
That's
my
all I
wife.
talk about. Tanya, Tanya, Tanya.
Oh yeah, oh
So
yeah.
even if they was thinking something, boy, he talking about
Even
Tanya
if you're
so
thinking something,
yeah, even if boy, he talking about Tanya so much. I
yeah,
even ain't going in that direction.
yeah, yeah, yeah. One young, two young girls many years ago flagged me down, and I was in my truck, and I stopped to give them a ride, and as we were driving, um, talking, having a conversation, one of the girls said, "You know, I like you." I say, "Yeah." I say, "If you like me that much, why don't you pay me a visit to church?" They say, "You say if you're looking at right, you can let us out right here." You see, because I let them know up front
Mhm.
who I was. I said, "If you like me that much, come pay me a visit to church." Right away, that told them
Kill it.
something. I ain't interested. I'm not interested. And
Yeah.
they were ready to jump out the truck. I hadn't even taken them where they wanted to go, but they were
Yeah.
ready to jump out. See, because their mind was something that I'm going to wrestle with this one. I'm going to wrestle with this one. A man, man in general, should not abuse a woman or take advantage of a woman because of what she is wearing, no matter how skimpy it is. He doesn't have the right to take advantage of a woman. On the flip side of that, men are visual people. We are
Yeah.
visual beings. And there's certain things that get our attention. Again, I want to say, man, you don't have a right. I don't care how skimpy it is that she's wearing. You don't have a right to touch her. But females, you have to be careful how you present yourself before men who their mindset is based on what they see. So when they see you with nothing on, they only seeing certain things.
Yeah.
Please, ladies, this is not to bash you. When you have one of these thin things to see through, females know exactly what they're doing.
Yes.
Like I say again, and I can keep saying it, you have a right to wear whatever you want to wear. It gives no man no reason to touch you.
Mhm.
But be careful because you are luring men to yourself. Depending on how you carry yourself, you are attracting certain men. You're attracting men.
Yeah.
So be
Yeah.
careful. Be careful. This this is This is what I'm saying. It's to protect you. This is to protect you. I know you want to look beautiful. If I'm looking for a wife, females again, listen to me. If I'm looking for a wife, I'm going to look for someone. I'm going to use some words, and the words that I use will only cause you. I only want you to start thinking. That's all it's for. To cause you to start thinking. I want a lady who's going to present herself godly, godly. I don't want my wife exposing herself to nobody else. I don't want it. Because if that's what I want, if that's what I wanted, I would look for a lady. I met a lady and I married a lady. And I don't want after we are married that you, now that I see, now you can show me who you are. You can't tell me what to wear. You can tell me what to do. Let me tell you something. If I put on something my wife say that ain't look good, I can change it. But if I feel like something what she has is inappropriate, I'm gonna say it ain't appropriate. Look on the stage sometimes, Pastor Alvin, with some of these females when they doing praise and worship. We have to be careful. We have to be able to sit our people down and give them some guidelines. Because sometimes the men can't concentrate on the worship
No,
because I floating all over the place.
all over the place.
All over the place. Ladies, what I'm saying is you're going to get the best husband you want. Just present yourself in the right way. God is going to make a way for the right man to come to you. There are going to be plenty wrong ones too, but you will know them because you will know the way how you present yourself and you will present them. You will be looking for a man who will love you for who you are.
Mhm. And that's
That's what you
powerful.
want.
That is very powerful. Cause everybody wants to be loved for who they are. Why should I uh want to be loved for who your last boyfriend or something was? For those of you, this program is brought to you by Love Bay Afro Beat Music Talk Radio, your number one African Caribbean diaspora online radio. This is the station that shares because we care. And you are listening to um, us today here on the Relationship and Marriage Hour. My guest today is Minister Franklin Bethel, here out of Nassau, Bahamas. And in our last few minutes, Minister Bethel, just tell our listening audience something so that for that man out there who don't know how he should be thinking and what is the correct thinking. Why don't you take about a minute or so and help him that he can get to the place that he can be like, I have a mind of a husband. I have a mind of a
Yes, yes,
husband, and this is how husbands think. Go for it.
absolutely. Absolutely, absolutely. Men, and you will always say this a lot of times from the pulpit. Number one, before God gave Adam Eve, before he gave the woman, which starts with a W, before he gave Adam the woman, which starts with a W, he gave him work that starts with a W. You want to be able to be responsible enough to hold a job. You want to be able to present yourself enough to for any female to realize I would love to have him for a husband. See, there are so many things that we as men need to do. Um, there are some, I watch some movies. I watch I love watching Paternity Court. And with Paternity Court, sometimes I sit back and I watch these people, where these females, they try to figure out who the daddy of the baby is. And
Yeah.
sometimes when I see the person who they um, believe in the daddy may be, I be saying to myself, how did these two persons come together? Mind you, let me also say this. Because the man ain't nice looking don't mean that he can't be the best husband.
Yes, yes.
Uh-huh. You don't have to be nice looking to be the best husband,
So true.
but he should present himself properly.
Yeah. Yeah.
You see, because I always say sometimes in the best of us there's a bad part.
Mhm.
And in the worst of us, there is some good. We need to look and search, get to know the person, see the good in them. See if the good could outshine the bad. See if the good could outweigh the bad. Because we don't want to just jump into a relationship not knowing what we're getting in. Guys, present yourself. Make sure you have a job. Make sure you know how to treat a woman. Because if you can't treat her good in the court stage before you get married, what make her think that you're going to treat her good after you walk up that aisle? So make sure that you present yourself honorably in front of that female so that when you do walk up that aisle, you would be able to take those vows seriously. And I love the vows because I always tell people in the vows, the pastor who stand in front of you telling you to repeat, he's going to be telling you some positive stuff and he's going to tell you some negative stuff because life is made up of both positives and negatives. You check the battery out in your car, it cannot start with only the positive and it can't start without
No.
only the negative. You need both posts in
Mhm.
order for that car to work. So
Mhm.
when they say for better or for worse, in sickness or in health, to love and to cherish, to love and to cherish no matter what. And then at the end, it tells you for how long
Mhm.
till death.
Yeah.
And it saddened me one day when I went to do an inspection on a triplex. And as I got there and I started to do my photographs and take my information and do my measurements, I got in a conversation with the lady because it's a lady who had us there doing the inspection. And I, my passion is marriages. So when this lady told me that she's getting this appraisal done, I wanted I wanted an idea. What's the reason for the appraisal? So she said to me, it's for us to divide what we have. I say, divide? I say, exactly what you mean. Now I got an idea, but I wanted to say. She said, well, you see, me and my husband separated, and we have to divide our assets. So I said, Miss, I said, how long were you married? And she told me. I said, I don't want to pry too much. I said, but what's the reason for the marriage? Pastor Alvin, when she told me I had to hurry finish what I went there to do, I just run because I was getting full. All my eyes was getting full. The
Oh
lady said
wow.
she had a stroke. She had a stroke and her husband couldn't take it and he left her. The
Oh.
very moment that she needed him, He
Yes.
walked out on them. For better, for worse, for richer, for poorer, in sickness or in health, you stick around.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
will never forget that conversation.
Oh wow.
But
Wow.
we have to, we have to take an account of certain things. We have to be accountable and present ourselves to the lady who we want to join ourselves with. So I hope
Yes.
that what
Yes.
I said was enough to carry you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Minister Franklin Bethel, for being here with us. And I want to say to those watching, yes, you have been watching the program that was brought to you by Love Bay Afrobeat Music Talk Radio, your number one African Caribbean diaspora online radio. This is the station that shares because we care, and we thank you for tuning in to us this Sunday and every Sunday that you tune in. And we want to encourage you to continue watching and being a part of what we are doing here. On behalf of Dr. Maria McDonald and myself, thank you for partnering with us here on the Relationship and Marriage Hour. Until next time, we are not out of material, we are just out of
Mhm.
time. So
Yes.
you be blessed and have a good week, and we'll see you next week, God's willing, same place, same time, as we discuss other topics as it relates to
Mhm.
relationship and marriage. Have a good one.
Mhm. Mhm.